So, Yoan.
Hi, all. My name is Yoan Yevide. I'm a biotech major at City College of New York, about to graduate this semester. I interned at both Biobus and Pfizer. I'm currently still at Pfizer.
Hi everyone, I'm also a student at City College. I'm a rising senior, and last summer I had the chance to intern at Biolabs as their marketing and administrative intern.
Hi everyone, my name is Annalise Schweikart. I was a computational biology major at Harvard College, which is in California. I'm a PhD candidate here in New York in computational biology, and last year I was an intern for Harmonic Discovery, which is a small drug discovery startup.
Thank you all for introducing yourself and your background, and I think you also said we were going to be interning this summer. Aysha, are you working this summer?
Yes, I am, but not with LifeSci. Unfortunately, I'm going to California for a Bloom Energy is the company that I'll be interning for.
I'm still getting my PhD, so I'll be doing that this summer, but I am a part-time consultant with Harmonic Discovery after the internship last summer. So
We'll come back to getting an offer or extending your internship offer later in this. So just tell us a little bit about your experience applying. Why did you decide to apply? And how did your schoolwork or your degree program prepare you for the internship?
So personally, I applied because of my siblings. Actually, when I started college, she was like, "You have to get an internship and potentially a full-time offer before you graduate," and that wasn't like negotiable. So yeah, so I started applying. The LifeSci internship application was quite easy. Just you guys beat through it, and then just submitting the cover letters for every position that you wanted to apply to. My schoolwork did help me in the sense that I didn't have any experience in either biotech or pharmaceuticals or anything in that sense. I just had my technical knowledge from computer science when I started computer science in college, and some of my courses. So that's mostly what I put on my resume, all the courses that I took and the projects that I did.
So the reason why I applied was because even though I'm a business major, a long time ago I was interested in science as well, and I thought I was going to be a nurse, but plans didn't go that way. And as Yohan said, like the application was pretty straightforward, and anything I saw that interested me, I applied. So yeah, and then I think with school, like my degree focused more on economics, but I learned lots of the skills that I have, I learned at the internship and on the job. Everyone was really helpful, so they taught me a lot.
I did a couple internships in undergrad, and when I found out it was an opportunity to do it in grad school, I definitely jumped on that because I had such a good time. And then in undergrad, I did more like big industry internships, and so I found myself getting interested in startups. And this was just like the perfect opportunity to connect with startups. So the LifeSci NYC program had a lot of applications with startup companies. And so I just went through the basic application process and got contacted by Harmonic Discovery CEO, who I had actually met before at one of the networking events that Joe was talking about earlier. So that was kind of a cool, small world, but also like great, product of networking. And so it worked out really well.
So what was your expectation going into the internship? Did you have a goal in mind? Yoan, you said somebody told you, I don't know if it was career services or your family told you, or both, you got to get an internship. What was your goal during the internship? Was it to get a full-time offer? Was it to learn something? Or was it something else?
My goal was always to get a full-time offer after the internship. Funny enough, I always wanted to work at Pfizer, even without knowing what it was. I used to go to a school that was right in front of the headquarters. So once I got the internship, my goal was always to obtain a full-time position afterwards.
What school was that?
Lyceum Kennedy, it's a French-American school right on 42nd Street.
If I'm being honest, extrovert person. It might not seem like it right now, but that's my one of my goals through my internship. I was able to network with people and have lots of connections.
Yeah, my goal was to figure out if working at a startup was a viable option for me post-graduation. Like, did I like the day-to-day? Did I like the team that I was working on? Was it, something that really interested me? And so it was generally just to gain that perspective.
And I'll start, Annalise, with you. You mentioned that you had already met the Harmonic CEO. You mentioned that you're now back part-time consulting. How did you make that happen?
Yeah, so I started a project with the company that was very cool. It was my own, which was great. I owned it, and it was just, bioinformatics, a science project. And we made a lot of development, made a lot of progress towards it that helped the company, and I kind of gave a final presentation. But there was definitely still development to be done, and they wanted to see it through to, for example, a conference presentation or a paper publication. They wanted the project done and then implemented into their pipeline because it was something they hadn't done before. And I was just the one who had owned it. I had been the one who became essential for that project to be finished. And so they were basically like, we want this finished and we think that you're the best person to do it. Will you stay on with us? And then we kind of just made an agreement that it would be part-time because I'm still getting my PhD. But yeah, so it's been this really nice, non-PhD aspect of my life that I get to continue this project with this company, which is completely different from the studies that I had been doing day to day. It was really nice.
Deviate from the script a little bit here, but you mentioned ownership. So Annalise said that she owned it, she was the go-to person. So Yoan and Aysha, were you ever the go-to person for something on any of your projects? And what did that mean to own something in your internship?
Funny enough, my manager who I started with at Pfizer retired about 2 months ago. And I was the only person working with him on some of the projects, so I'm currently the only person that can work this project. So a lot of them were recommended by me and him. So I'm the go-to person whenever they need assistance with our playbooks or our current system that we're developing. So yeah, it does kind of feel good.
Funny enough, my supervisor at after my first month, she switched to another job, and so I kind of had I guess I would say free will to jump on any project. So a lot of the events so BioLab hosts a lot of events for networking, which I encourage you all to go if you ever have the chance to. And so I assisted and took on when it comes to marketing those events, whether it be flyers or on their Twitter posts. So yeah.
So there's a little bit of luck and timing I'm here in what you're saying. And so sometimes your supervisor retires or takes another job or says, oh my gosh, we need this. Please help us out. So sometimes it's just luck. Sometimes you get bad luck, like I shared with you earlier this morning. Now, Yoan, you mentioned that you're at Pfizer now. So it sounds like you converted your internship into also a part-time or a full-time job?
It's currently a bit of a gray line. I've been extending my contract for a year now. I'm still extending until the end of the year now, and we're discussing a full-time opportunity.
Excellent. Good. So, how does the LifeSci community support you? Are you involved in it? And if the answer is no, I won't be offended. I'll just come find you afterward and everything this summer and hound you all summer. No, I'm kidding. What was your experience with the community of other interns, and what's been your experience since you finished your internship?
So I came to this event last year, right, just like y'all are right now, and I think it may have been on an alumni panel that somebody was giving advice that just completely shaped my internship. They said something this is your internship. You can really make anything of it that you want. So make sure that you're really proactive and, you're talking about ownership, ask for ownership. kind of, I don't know, get out there and you know, take it, you know, and really run with it, basically. And because of that, like, it was because of advice that I heard on that alumni stage, in the very beginning, first week probably of my internship, I went to the CEO and I said, I know that I'm a science intern, but you know, I understand you're a startup and you need people helping on all aspects of the business. And so if you want to put me on anything else, feel free, I'm here to do it, you know? And I only did that, I can say I only did that because of the advice that somebody gave on this stage, because, you know, it gave me a little confidence. And he did, and like, you know, my CEO put me on projects that are, like, I got to do branding, I got to do swag for the company, I got to choose, you know, the dinner places that we would go to when we went to a conference together. So I think that it was just like, I needed that kind of perspective switch, that it's like, I'm not going somewhere to prove myself. Everybody's done this, you know, all these alumni have done this before, and it has been really successful for them, and they were like go-getters, you know, they were the kind of people who didn't just shy away, they behaved, you know, really, really strongly, and, you know, so I don't know, I just like, the advice that I got from this program and the alums of this program just show me, you can make of this internship that you want completely transform my experience. And so that's why I come back, because I'm like, I need, you know, I need to pay it forward and also be in the alumni network because of that.
Well, regrettably, I wasn't that involved in my internship time, but I am trying to be more involved now. I'm a student ambassador in City College for LifeSci, and hopefully in the next semester I'll get to meet more students and alumni that are interested in the program. And like from what I've noticed, like while being involved in LifeSci, like our alumni community is huge, like, and everyone's so helpful. And I think like that's the great aspect. And so ask me again this question in like a month, and I'll have a better answer for you.
As for me, I've been kind of involved in the community. It's always great to talk to other alumni or interns and hear about their experiences. It's just kind of motivating to hear where everyone's at the moment and what their goals are. Also, I mean, the biggest plus of it is I'm able to write my own cover letters and resume now. Thanks to all of you. Like, I don't need any professional, like anyone else to help me write it. They have someone to write it. So yeah, that's the community has been great in that sense.
Hard skills, tangible skills, yes, love that. Also love confidence, the community, motivation. So what is one thing you wish you would have known before going into your internship? Or something maybe you have regretted about your academic or work in biotech?
I won't say it's a regret. I did switch a lot of majors. I started as a computer science. I went into health and science professions before going into biotech. I wish I had a path back in high school to kind of know where I wanted to go, but like on the plus side, I did get a lot of experience that helped me in my current internships and current positions in life. So it's not really a bad thing per se.
I think my only regret is that I wasn't like networking or like talking enough to the other startup companies within biolabs. I feel like if I had, I would have made way more connections, and not like in like business aspects, but like also friendships and stuff. I have met a few people in the company, but not as much as I would have liked to. So that would be one regret.
I don't have many regrets. I had such a great time in my internship. I would say the one thing probably would also be networking. I think that like working at a startup, and I'm sure that you identify with this as well, the biolabs, is like there's a lot of community in the startup world surrounding, you know, happy hours, networking events, come to this talk, yada, yada, yada. And I think I was like almost too focused on my job, to be honest, even though my boss was encouraging me to go, you know, but I just was like, no, I gotta get this done. But, you know, given the opportunity again, I probably would have taken him up on one of those, you know, events and those invites.
Well, since you mentioned networking and Joe just talked to us about networking, the thing that struck me in that poll, me included, a lot of the answers were about talking to other people. What makes us most nervous about going to an internship event? So how do you you said you walked up to the CEO, you managed to convert your internship, you were probably networking, my guess is, with people in your company. How do you get the courage to talk to a stranger first time? Can you remember that?
Because I think I've gotten a lot better with networking. So honestly, I think like going with the mindset that not everyone's a scary person. Like people are actually very nice, and you would be surprised to see how helpful people are. And I think like if I were to give one advice, just honestly, like the best way to connect with people is sometimes like you talk about something other than work-wise, and I think that's the best way to make connections with someone and something lasting connections as well.
So when we had our first boot camp in 2021, I think, Anita gave us some advice on how to go to people and how to start networking. And when I started at Pfizer, I started actually scheduling a lot of one-on-ones with random people in random fields just to talk to them and see what they're into, what they're doing, what's their day-to-day like. And my manager was giving me a list of people to talk to. That's, you don't have to be afraid of people, just go to them. I also remember my manager's boss is kind of, I don't know how to phrase it. He's kind of harsh when he speaks to you for the first time, but like after scheduling a one-on-one and talking for a few minutes, it was just down to earth. So you just have to take a chance, go for it.
So I learned the best way for me to talk to new people is kind of like, you know, how you warm up for like a workout. It's kind of like you warm up for talking to people that you don't know. And so generally I warm up with Joe because he's at all these networking events and I know him. And it's nice because like you were saying, like sometimes you know people there and you don't want to stick with them, but it does seem easiest. That's how I start, is I talk to the people that I know, kind of like get warmed up and like, okay, we're in this environment, I'm in the right headspace. And then, hey, somebody new joins the circle, or hey, you see somebody standing alone and you want to go to wherever they are, or, you know, sitting on a comfy couch, or they're getting a drink or something. So I say like the warm up. And I think it's really funny because, you know, that networking talk, I remember one of the concerns that was expressed last year, which I really identified with, was, what if you're done with the conversation? How do you gracefully say, hey, I'm done talking to you? I remember that was like, it's kind of an awkward thing, but I think people are expecting it. You know, if you're going somewhere to network, you're going to be talking to different people. So it makes sense for a conversation to end and to move on. And that's why I don't feel bad. You know, I go and I start talking to Joe, or I talk to whoever I know, and then just being like, okay, this is great. I really want to go talk to that person. So I'll see you later. And just like, then, you know, now that I'm warm, I can like go talk to the person that potentially I wanted to talk to in the first place.
That's a great tip. You can truly just say, well, it was great meeting you. Hope to see you again this summer. Thank you. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm going to get a snack. Or you can even skip those last two sentences. It was great meeting you. Thank you. Move on. Let's see. What questions do you all have for our alumni? I'm seeing a couple of hands. So, Kevin?
Yeah, I probably already mentioned it, but what was like the biggest impact LifeSci had on y'all?
Yeah, so like I said, and I really wish I could quote the person that said this quote on this stage, but it was basically like, if you want to get involved, you have every right to ask for that, right? So when I was going to the startup, it was like, I literally wrote down in my notebook, you're going to ask the CEO what other jobs you can participate in, just to show, just to plant that seed that you are a capable person who is ready to take on new things besides what you're learning in your classroom or the skills that you've gotten, you know, hard skills, right? I wrote that down. Like, if that is what really made the internship, because I said in my mind, I'm gonna do what this person did, and I'm gonna open myself up to new experiences that were hard. I wasn't experienced at designing swag. I wasn't experienced at managing meetings with a branding company, but now I know how to, you know? So I think that LifeSci kind of showed me how to make the most of this experience in that way.
I think something similar, like LifeSci showed me to like not kind of shy away from any opportunity that's like given to you. As I said before, like everyone's here to help, and like anything that comes your way, like you are more than deserving of that opportunity. So always take those chances because you never know where you're gonna end up.
Pretty much the same thing. It's like I'm not, like I said, I deviated from computer science, but what I'm working now is more the business side of Pfizer. So don't be afraid of going in, not knowing what you're gonna do. Just take a leap of faith and go in. You might learn something new.
And then Julie?
Just a follow-up, how did you, I guess, approach your CEO? How did you pitch your argument that you could do anything in a way where you're taken seriously?
I mean, you know, through the interview process and through the act of being here right now, I think that you are given some sort of credence because, you know, you made it through, you're a competitive candidate, and you're generally like pretty adept at the field that we're working in. And so, you know, he had every right to say no. I just had to ask the question. I think the reason why he said yes is because the company was only 9 people and they had a lot to do. And so here was somebody who was literally coming in as an intern being like, let me help you, and he really wanted to jump on that. But like I said, he could have as easily said no skin off my back, you know, just less work for me, so.
Got Julia and then Coleman?
So kind of going off that same theme, what was a time when you took a risk and maybe it didn't go well, and how did you recover from that? Because taking on more responsibility is always great if you do well, but I'm always worried what happens if I make a mistake if I'm not like super experienced.
So as I started, there was a system that we were using, and they wanted some way to better it, and I took the initiative to go for it. Somehow ended up kind of messing up, which is fine. I managed to just backtrack and fix my errors. Like, don't be afraid to own up to your mistake. Tell the person, I made a mistake. They'll be okay with it, help you out, and find a way to just fix it.
I don't have an exact moment where I made a mistake, but I know I made a lot of mistakes at my last internship. And I think like as an intern, like you have to be okay with making mistakes. But like you can't just be repeating mistakes. Like you need to learn from those mistakes. And I think like honestly, like it's okay. Like as Yoan said, like own up to your mistake and know that like as you move on like with your career, you're gonna be learning a lot of things. So mistakes are common as long as you learn from them.
Annalise, I think you mentioned both interning at a big company and a startup. Can you just talk about the differences, like the environment and also how you carry yourself in those environments?
Yeah, so that's a good question. At the big company, so I worked at Microsoft, that's a big company, right? I think, you know, they had an internship program where there were thousands of interns, and when I showed up on the job, the task that they assigned me was something that was very simple. And because of that, I was like, I didn't feel like they took me seriously, so I didn't take it as seriously, to be honest. I was kind of like, well, they aren't really expecting much of me, so I'm just gonna take my time and, you know, play it safe, basically. With the startup, like I was saying, so few employees, and every dollar counts when you have, you know, your funding may run out by who knows your runway, right? They took it seriously. The first day that I was given my job, like what they were telling me my project for the summer was gonna be, I was like, oh, that's hard. Oh, that is a tough job, right? but they trust me with it. I have 3 months to figure it out. I'm sure they're gonna provide me the tools and they're gonna be good mentors, because they wouldn't be, having me here if they couldn't, right? So I think that as compared to the bigger company where I felt kind of like a cog in the machine, like they just started giving me something simple to, employ me. I felt like at the startup it was like, no, they are very purposeful with this choice, and I need to be very purposeful with the way that I'm treating this company. So I think my mindset shifted, that even though I think I took like equal advantage of both situations, the one at the startup, I kind of reflected what I was getting from my manager. At the same time, I think that at Microsoft, had I asked for more, they also would have been willing to give me more, like, just like I was saying, how the CEO was like, he would have said no, but he really needed my help, so he said yes. I'm sure they would have done the same thing at Microsoft, but at that time, I don't think I was taking it as seriously, whereas this time I was taking it very seriously.
See a couple questions. Maybe what I'll do is I'll collect both of the questions to save a little of the running time.
I think I've heard a lot about like corporate and business research and that sort of thing so far, but I don't know if anyone has a perspective on doing like research in academic setting and how maybe it's different, and how interacting with your PI, whoever, is different than interacting with a boss in a company, like, yeah.
Okay, there's some mind melding happening.
My question was going to be fairly similar. It was going to be mostly for Annalise. So I'm in a very similar position to you. I'm doing my PhD and I finish it up. I was going to ask you, how do you find that working at like a startup or just an industry company is kind of different from the academic setting? Because I think I had a hard time turning off my academic brain when I was in the industry setting, and I was struggling to be perfect when I didn't need to be. So I was just wondering, like, has the way you manage your time and the way you, like someone said, carry yourself be different? Or did you find that you were kind of using the same skills but just in different ways?
Start with Annalise.
Yeah. So I'd say it was actually pretty similar. To both of your questions, like I was approaching research the way that I knew to approach research, right? So it was literature review, it was data gathering, it was, just general, the pipeline that you're used to. The biggest difference, I will say, is that my experience in academia was if a project, is maybe not producing results as fast as you would like it to, you just continue doing it because it's just a long slog and you're gonna be here forever. But this was a 3-month internship. And I expressed to my boss multiple times saying, if this project isn't outputting what you wanted it to output, then I'm willing to totally trash it and move on, which I never would have done with my PhD, right? But it's like, again, kind of, we're trying to move a little bit faster. We have different goals. We're not just trying to publish and get a degree. We're trying to, publish and create a small molecule, right? So the incentive is completely different, such that I was willing to trash my work if it wasn't contributing to the goals of the company, which is completely different from research. But in terms of the way that I carried myself, I do think my boss was basically my second PI in that way, just maybe a little bit more willing to tell me when something was or was not aligned with the company goals, right? So that was the only difference.
Do either of you have a perspective on how academic research is different from what you've done in your company?
Well, the only research I did was in business, or in the company. A lot of business majors, so I don't know if I can answer your question, but I think from my perspective, the research that I've done in my classes and compared to the internships I did are not that different. And honestly, I think that part of school helped me develop proper research skills when it came to researching competitors or looking at SEO analysis. So maybe because you guys are science majors, that won't be helpful to your answer. But if there is anyone who's a business major, that
Annalise went through the main thing. I think academia is mostly you start a research and you finish it off, even if it's not giving results. And in industry, you start something with a goal in mind and you finish it up. You start something else. You're not on the same project.
All right, we have time for maybe one or two more questions if anyone has. Okay. Then, thank you, panelists, for sharing your wisdom with us. Your successes and mistakes, that's really awesome. Thank you so much for giving your time back to the community. We welcome you anytime for all of our events, for panels, as an ambassador. Thank you for doing that. So please don't be a stranger. Hope to see you tonight at kickoff. And we will take a 5-minute break before we go into our last panel and then close out. Thank you. Thanks.